Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to the Chill with Clayton podcast. By the way, if my voice sounds a little bit funny, it's because we have been having big time seasonal allergies back here in Texas. As we, crazy enough, I went and did a pickleball thing last week, and it was like 40 to 50 degrees. And now it's almost like 70 to 80 degrees. So the temperature fluctuation has really been hitting my nose hard. So just be aware if my voice sounds a little funky. That's why, but I don't think it sounds that bad. But hey, if it does, oh well. Thank you. Seasonal allergies, and shout out to Allergy Medicine for the win. Shout out. But in all dear seriousness today, we're going to be talking about a more lighthearted episode. Heck, I got a fun, lighthearted t-shirt on today, the YOLO, you only live once, with Jesus, just kidding, be right back. If you know, you know. Great, and it's also kind of a, let you know, the Easter story, so pretty cool. But like I said, today we're going to be talking about something very lighthearted. We're going to be talking about just some good old Gen Z nostalgia, so hope y'all are ready for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Got to just kind of talk about my childhood, and I think it's going to be a fun little conversation we just have with you across the screen, even though I know I'm not talking to you personally, but I can feel like I'm talking to you personally. But as you all know, if you want to, let us know. Hey, like and subscribe to our show. We'd love the content that we're going to give out to y'all this year. We want to make sure that it's quality, good, family content, and we're just excited to continue on the Chill with Clayton train. We also have our Instagram page, which has the daily Bible verses, some music, a lot of just good fun. I even post about some pretty cool stuff, like I was talking about some of the March Madness stuff that's been going down, some of the cool just quotes that the players have been saying. Like, that's been really cool to hear, especially one from Chase Johnston, who is the one of the guards of High Point, which that was a pretty cool game to watch against Wisconsin. We also have our Facebook private group. You can check that out as well. We have Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can check those out as well. Like and follow on those platforms. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. By the way, if you also want to be part of the show, chillwithclayton@gmail.com. Heck, I've been even thinking about this. If you want to come on and be like be like a host of the show, like a guest host, like if one day I get like down with a cold and I need someone to fill in, hey, let me know if you'd be down for that, because I would love to have that kind of fun and just hear from, maybe another person could, give another great perspective on it. But we might have to change the name because it is still Chill with Clayton. But that's besides the point, everybody. Hope y'all enjoy this episode. Let's ride the nostalgia train right now. All right, so everybody, let's get into this Gen Z nostalgia train. Now, folks, I will be getting into some more fun, more gospel-centric side of this here in just a moment. But first, we're going to talk more about the kind of the secular, the regular day of Gen Z nostalgia that I had. So for me, I grew up as a kid, as a Disney kid. I was a Disney, Playhouse Disney kid back in the day. When my parents had cable, Playhouse Disney was one of the big channels we watched. Nick Jr., of course. PBS Kids was another big one. From the Playhouse Disney train, some of my favorite shows included, of course, we had the legendary show known as Bear in the Big Blue House. I mean, if y'all did not watch Bear in the Big Blue House back in the day, man, I don't know what y'all are doing. We need Bear in the Big Blue House for our modern day kids, just because of the fun, just energetic, just fun times we had. I mean, I'd be chilling in the morning and watching the television show, and then I just see a bear just start sniffing in front of my television. I'm like, what in the world is he doing? But then he goes, oh, you smell like honey. And I'm like, as a little kid, I'm probably like, okay, did I just have Honey Nut Cheerios or something? But Bear, I mean, what a great show that was. Another one I always watched when I was a little kid was Stanley. Stanley was another one of my favorites back in the day. I was a big fan of animals, so when you got to see like any type of animal, I was like, okay, I am hooked right now. I am hooked on this show. And then there was the song known as The Great Big Book of Everything. Oh my goodness, that just, when you put on that song, that the nostalgia just hits. And then you just hear Dennis, Stanley's fish, going like, oh my gosh, why are we singing right now? I just want to get this, I just want to show Stanley what's going on here, but instead, the dog and the cat are out doing a sing-song, doing a musical in the bedroom, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Another classic was Roly Poly Oly, great show back in the day. I loved watching that show. I mean, that he's Roly Poly Oly. I mean, that just theme song just hit, man. It just hit. And then for me, I was also a big Winnie the Pooh baby. I loved Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh was like one of my first things that I ever got introduced to in my childhood. So I had like all the Winnie the Pooh child toys. I was looking back at like all 2003 commercials, and I seen like this Tigger that used to flip around from like, I think it was Fisher Price. And I'm like, holy cow, I used to have that. I used to have that toy. But yeah, I mean, I was going like, I mean, it was like, man, it was so cool just to go back and look at that. And you're just like, man, I'm like, I haven't seen that in my childhood. And then it's like, with YouTube, you can see everything nowadays. It's like crazy. Like you could see all kinds of nostalgic commercials and all that. Instagram even. It's kind of crazy, honestly. But continuing on the train, I mean, I was a big Pooh Bear fan. Also loved Clifford the Big Red Dog. That was an excellent show. If y'all did not watch Clifford the Big Red Dog, I mean, that was one of the shows that I would just be like this. I'd be like, it's absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. I just absolutely love that show. There are many other shows I could talk about that were along the ride of this. If we're going Nick Jr., it was Wonder Pets. It was, I know this is a little bit of a controversial one, but man, back in the day, when you were at the doctor's office, you seen this show called Little Bill. I mean, it was a good show. But now, as you know, the guy who grew up to be Little Bill, oh, well, that's why, unfortunately, we don't see that.
Oh, baby!
Max and Ruby, yes, that was another classic among the bunch. The Backyardigans, I continued on the Disney Junior thing. Like, there was Little Einsteins. I mean, I'll get into something when we talk about the religious thing. I mean, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but there's something connected with the Little Einsteins theme song, but I'll mention that here in a moment. I'll mention that here in a bit. But continuing on the PBS train, there was Marvin the Tap Dancing Horse. There was some other just absolute classics. There was Between the Lions. If you did not watch Between the Lions, that was a great, great show. Of course, you had Sesame Street. You had Cyber Chase, where you found out, oh yeah, that's Doc Brown playing the hacker. That's Doc Brown. I mean, it's like, wait, I feel like I've heard this voice, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd. I mean, it's so cool just going back in these old childhood shows and just looking at that. And then there was movies, man. The movies were amazing back then. We're talking Shrek. We're talking Cars. We're talking Toy Story. We're talking, I mean, I was watching the old Tom and Jerry cartoons. I was watching the old school Looney Tune cartoons on my old portable DVD player. That's right, it was a portable DVD player. That was our modern day tablet. But unfortunately, you can only put one movie in there, and it was just like the DVD. But you still got all the cool amenities, and you're just like a kid back in the back seat of for my parents, it was a 2000 maroon Nissan Quest. And I'm just sitting back there with that portable DVD player, and I'm just like, man, this is the life, bro. That's now y'all, some of the kids that are watching this somehow, and they're only like 4 or 5 years old, that's them with like, on their tablets, which is like crazy. But like portable DVD players, those were the goated back in the day. Those were goated. Talking toys, I mean, Hot Wheels. I used to have football games with Beanie Babies. I was watching this one clip on Instagram a couple days ago, and funny enough, it came out from Nickelodeon, and they were saying, oh, it's always nice to return home, which was a quick little dig at Disney Channel. And if you know what's going on right now on Disney Channel, they've been doing this big marathon of Hannah Montana because, well, the 20th anniversary happened on there. And there's this kid in the iCarly episode, and he's having this whole display of Beanie Babies. And I'm like, what the heck? But it's like, that was me. I was watching ESPN college football on the floor, and just playing football with a little bouncy ball. I mean, oh my gosh, peak boy for me, peak boyhood. I mean, you had the fun that you got to go out there and play sports. You got to go play catch with dad. I got to go play t-ball with the Giants. Giants, by the way, that was my team for Wiley Little League. And if there's anyone watching that remembers Wiley, I mean, I was not the best baseball player, but like I did half decent, I guess, because I hit a double, slid into second. It was working so well. I came back around the plate, and I forgot to touch home plate. Like, Clayton, come on, buddy. Like, come on. Then there was also, I had the basketball hoop back in the day at my house. So I'd be shooting up shots. We'd be playing horse or duck, as we called it, as I was in my 2010-2011 Duck Dynasty t-shirt with the Duck Commander shirt. By the way, if you're talking 2010s Gen Z nostalgia, Duck Dynasty was an absolute legendary show. Absolute legendary. But continuing on my quest here, I was also an over-the-air television kid. If there's anybody out there who remembers the TV network known as Cubo, oh my gosh, that was a lifesaver. Now, don't get me wrong, PBS Kids did have some good shows when I was in my mid-teens, like Wild Kratts. That was a great show. I mean, I liked Zaboomafoo when I was a kid, so I was like, Wild Kratts was going to be perfect for me. That show, I've been seeing it all over my Instagram feed, and I'm like, man, I remember that show. Classic, man. I remember that show. So, yeah. And then also, there's more stuff I can explain here in a moment, but let's get into some more nostalgia right after this. All right, so back to what I was going at the end there. We were talking about TV shows. We were going to get into the 2010s. Before I forget with the Clifford thing real fast, I used to have a big old Clifford the Big Red Dog, like little plushie. And as a kid that also liked PBR, I thought, this is how goofy I was as a kid. This is how goofy I was. I decided to turn old Clifford into a bucking bull. I didn't have a little bucking bull, but like, okay, I'm like a mini cowboy, and I'm like riding like 8 seconds on Clifford. Like, oh my gosh. My mom and dad are probably going like, oh my gosh, I remember this moment in that. But yeah, and then I had this little car track. I had so many dang Hot Wheels. I had just a Cowboys computer bag just full of them. I was a baseball card collector. Tops, man. That was the goated collection of cards. My dad had like a whole collection of cards he collected when he was a kid. And I just continued to add on. And I still add on to my collection to this day. I have a binder in my house still of some of those cards that I got. And it's like so cool to look back at it. It's so cool to look back at the nostalgia of everything that's going on. It's so cool. So let me get into another thing. Video games. Now, video games, I really didn't have that much. Like, I'd go to your local arcade and do that. Like, yeah, I get to go with that. I get to go to Nickel-Rama or, like, whatever. And I get to go hang out and do that. That was fun. I got to enjoy that. But when I got my Nintendo 3DS back in 2011, I was absolutely hooked. Madden on a 3DS, like, dude, I was loving it. I was just listening to every day. I was trying to throw passes with Tony Romo back in the day to Des Bryant or Miles Austin or Jason Witten or whatever. And I was just going crazy on that game. I was going crazy. Like, I mean, you had the game in your hands and you're just playing at it. And then, oh yeah, you could also do like a little 3D effect if you wanted to. there was also the 3DS videos that they had. They had this thing called Dinosaur Office from College Humor. I remember watching this and I'm like, man, what the heck is this? But I'm like, okay, this is like peak. This is peak, man. I mean, I also had other games. I had some Mario games, like Mario Kart 7 when you were just in middle school or junior high and you're like, okay, there's a field day and you're like, all right, boys, let's connect it up. And speaking of video games, let's get into the phone here. Let's get into this little thing called the phone. If people were around in 2016 or 2017, Madden Mobile was absolutely goated. Goated. I mean, when you remember you had those super teams of whatever was going on in 2016 or 2017, like that was the cream of the crop of Madden Mobile. I wish Madden Mobile would be like that again, but unfortunately it's never going to be like that because EA is very hungry for money and thinking they're Mr. Krabs and you have to go like cha-ching, cha-chingaree. You have to have all the money, 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 which is a good segment into the 2010s for me. We're going to talk about some of the stuff, like as also when I was a kid, I also had the Christian version of stuff that was going on in life as well. I mean, there was like, I had my VeggieTales videos. I had Hermie and Friends, which was with some actors like that are pretty dang famous. And I'm like, okay, that Tim Conway, Don Knotts, like, hey, I mean, I remember Don Knotts because of Barney 5. I mean, if we're talking over-the-air television, MeTV was one of the channels that I kind of grew up watching. Leave It to Beaver was one of the shows I ended up watching with my dad, and I ended up loving it. The Soup episode is a classic. The Soup episode is an absolute classic. And there are other just classics of TV shows. I mean, you get to see, I watched The Brady Bunch for the first time, Father Knows Best. I mean, there were so many classic shows that were on there. I mean, I even watched the 1960s Batman. And as cheesy as that show is, I'm like, okay, like, heck, y'all, I used the comment thing. I used same Clayton time, same Clayton channel, which was from Batman, which was same bat time, same bat channel. Like, that's where I got that from. And in the 2010s, like I was saying, Cubo was like the big channel, which had all kinds of old PBS Kids shows. They had all the Canadian shows on there that I'm like, okay, like, dude, like, there were some cool shows back on the day, back on Cubo. Now, some of these shows, I'm probably sure some of y'all have never heard of because y'all were busy watching maybe Nickelodeon with Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron and all that great stuff. SpongeBob, of course, which were great shows. Cartoon Network had some classics with Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Dexter's Laboratory, Gumball, regular show, Adventure Time, which I did watch as well. I watched a lot of those 2010 classics, like Gravity Falls, for example, or Jessie, or any of those like Disney Channel shows, Good Luck Charlie, whatever. I mean, I was watching all those shows. But like when you go back and look at like Cubo back in the day, and you're looking back at those shows and you see shows like Babar, like I would never seen Babar. I would never seen like Turbo Dogs or Jacob Tutu or the Zula Patrol, or even VeggieTales was on there. But getting into the Christian thing, there was another channel called Smile of a Child, which was owned by TBN at the time, it was owned at TBN by the time, because fortunately with shows like channels like Cubo and Smile of a Child, they're no longer with us because they got axed. They are no longer channels that are over the air, which is very sad for the kids of our generation because they'll never get to know those shows. They'll never get to see those shows. They'll never get to experience that. And I think that's a really cool thing that I got to experience. Like the nostalgia train that I get to go back and look at when I'm going through Tubi or whatever and looking at those shows. And I'm like, wait, I remember watching this show. Now, getting into the Christian side of the things, like I've been saying, I mean, I grew up as you all know, I was grown up in the church. And in the church, you had our ministry was called Camp Noah. It was called Camp Noah. So we had VeggieTales going on. We had this thing called, I think it was this little green bear called Boz. I want to say Boz, the bear. He was on there. We also had, now this is going to be a big time if you know this group, were in the church in the 2010s. There used to be this musical group called The Lads. Now, The Lads were like the Christian version of the Wiggles, which is crazy, but it was for older kids. But these were just these four Australian guys, and they were just going out and singing. Like, I still have one of the songs that is stuck in my head. It goes, na, 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 hey, na, 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 hey, na, 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 I got a shot, hey. Like, I mean, I don't know if any of y'all got a nostalgia boost right there. Like, there you go. Like, that's how it works sometimes. And on Small of a Child, there was this show called God Rocks. Like, that was like one of my favorite shows back in the day. Like at 5:30 p.m. after I got home from school, like, okay, yeah, I could have maybe watched Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, but no, I'm going to go watch God Rocks. Because I'm like, okay, let's go check this out. And there were other great shows part of that Small of a Child. Auto Be Good was a good one. Paws and Tails, Herbie and Friends. And then there were some other shows that I'm like, why are you showing this to kids? Like, there was this show called Donkey Ollie, and I remember it 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, and I see this donkey, a cartoon donkey, absolutely beaten up. I'm like, what is going on? Then you also had, at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, you had the anime of Superbook, which is like the Bible told in an anime. It's like, man, you were just like, man, what kind of trip am I on? I'm like, okay, like, I'm only here mainly for VeggieTales. But there was also just so many cool stuff. There's so much cool stuff that happens with the nostalgia. It's just so cool. Like I said, like with the church thing, I mean, like we had the lads, we had the dancing that we had during Camp Noah or Armor Up back in the day. There was some cool nights that we had. We had the Nerf gun battles back in the day. We had the overnights. We had the all-nighters that were so much fun. Like, we were racing Hot Wheels back in the day. We were going out and just shooting each other with Nerf guns. That was what the boys were doing. I don't know what the girls were doing. They were probably doing drawings or making crafts while we were just going out and just going crazy on Nerf guns. But I think if I remember right, I think the girls wanted to join in because they're like, wait, why are they having all the fun? We're out here just doing pictures and dancing. And now I know some of y'all girls probably like that and enjoy that. But it's like, man, like, we were just going out there and doing Nerf wars. I mean, that's so much fun. Well, I'd love to continue on this, and I can continue on for as much as I go. But let's get into the verse of the day, and I'll kind of finish out like why I'm talking about all this nostalgia. So guys, to wrap up this episode, we're going to talk about a quick little Bible verse and some other verses, and then I'm going to kind of wrap up the rest of the nostalgia train, and we're going to kind of leave the station on this. But I wanted to talk about Ecclesiastes 7:14. When times are good, be happy, but when times are bad, consider this. God has made the one as well as the other. Therefore, no one can discover anything about their future. Now, you might be asking, Clayton, why in the heck did you even pick this Bible verse? Well, let me talk about it. Even though nostalgia is really good to go back on, like good times, was there some bad times back in the day? Oh, yeah. If you don't know my true testimony, we were homeless during my 8th grade to 10th grade years. Or I think, no, actually 7th grade through 10th grade. No, 8th grade to 10th grade. Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, well, we were homeless. And at that time, you kind of remember the nostalgia of those days. The nostalgia train is so good to go back on. Those were some great times. But there was also some bad times during that. I mean, we got in trouble sometimes. There were some times I was like, man, like, oh, man, I wish I couldn't remember that. Like, you know, back in school days when you're just kind of just chilling and maybe you didn't have any friends on the playground, or maybe you were just kind of that goofball that everyone knew in the school, or you were the nerd emoji in my case and I had braces and glasses and looked like an absolute nerd, or whatever. Or the girls were going around thinking you had a crush on one of them and then later on they just pick on you because they did it. And I was like, okay, really? Like really, why am I even here? Like, why did I do that? But there was also some other times during nostalgia from 8th, 10th grade. I was homeless at the time. And I remember like some of the nostalgia I used to watch during back then. Like I'd seen a lot of cable back then, so I was watching Cartoon Network back in the day. I was watching Gumball, like I was saying. I was watching Adventure Time. I was watching Regular Show or any other big time show that was going on, like Phineas and Ferb and Gravity Falls, all the Disney Channel shows back in the day, like a Good Luck Charlie or a Jessie or a Dog with a Blog back in the day. Like those were like the shows that I kind of like went back and looked at, like Kick Buttowski, Suburban Daredevil. Like that was one of my favorite shows I watched on Disney XD, or Kicking It, or Lab Rats, or whatever. Like even on the Nickelodeon, there was SpongeBob, there was Fairly Odd Parents, there was the Power Rangers were on there. There were so many TMNT. There were so many good shows back in that day. And when you're watching that, and then you're watching, like, when I was in those times, there was, like, the nostalgia that came through me, but also there was times that I got to go to church camp. I got to go to these fun events back in the day. Like what I was saying earlier about the Little Einsteins thing, we're in South Padre Island in Texas. We're a bunch of 10th graders on the beach, and yeah, we're going crazy to a remix of the Little Einsteins theme song. Like, that was good things, man. That was good times. I mean, when you pulled up and you were watching, like, dude, like, back in 2021, like, I remember I was helping out, and all I can remember was hearing was Old Town Road, because that was what the song was of 2021, or excuse me, 2019, or whatever it was. You remember those memories. I remember the times I went to H Falls with the church. I remember when I got to go to the Ranger games and got to see my favorite player, Joey Gallo, go and see that home run. I got to see one of his major league home runs, and I got to see it with my buddies. I got to see it with my friends. I got to remember some great times. One of my buddies drank way too much Coca-Cola, and we made him look like a good goober and go like, hey, he actually drank so much Coca-Cola. In reality, he didn't. And if you know who that is, you're laughing at this moment. I got stuck in an elevator in South Padre Island, and there was so many crazy memories from that. I got bitten up by mosquitoes that week. There are just so many great memories that you go back and you look back at it. And times are good, man. Be happy about those times. But when, times are bad, still remember those good memories. Because God has made those memories. Even though you might not know, like, why did I have to have bad times along with good times? I look back at those bad times when I was, like, homeless. I remember I was chilling with my mom and dad, and on a Friday night, I was just watching Guy Fieri reviewing food. Like, that was, and I still do that to this day. I'll watch Food Network and I'll go like, oh yeah, I remember that episode. And that's why I loved, like, watching food reviews of Guy Fieri. I mean, that was good times. You watch your old CBS shows or the old ABC shows or whatever television you had back in the day. Like Duck Dynasty, for example, or The Big Bang Theory, or whatever kind of TV show that you remember. Even though there was bad times going on at the time, when I go back and look at those shows, I go, yeah, God delivered me and helped me through those times, and he was still faithful to me during those days. So remember that. When you're going back and looking at your old nostalgic stuff, when you're looking back at it, remember that God was faithful during those moments. Either if they were good or bad. Like, hey, like, I don't know what your nostalgia train was, because for us guys, it was a whole lot different. I know some of y'all probably grew up with PS2s and PS3s. The only time I got to play the PS3 was when I went over to my buddy Sean's house and got to go do that, because I only had a 3DS. There was so much, like, going back and looking at the nostalgic commercials, like Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, for example, or remembering the Chick-fil-A cow in a PBS Kids commercial. Like, I remember that. Or the going back and looking on YouTube and looking up 2010's Cartoon Network ads, and you're like, holy cow, like, I remember that. I remember that. And at the time, you might not think about Jesus or God in any of those moments, but remember, he was still faithful to you in those times. He got you to let you experience those moments. And now, as we grow older and we're now adults and we're like, man, like we're getting into the job world, some of y'all are now parents to kids, some of y'all are getting engaged, some of y'all are married, some of us are single still to this day, some of us are finishing college or whatever. Like Gen Z is like now in adulthood, and it's like, man, like what the heck? And now you see all these different nostalgia trips, like just a couple nights ago, they had the Hannah Montana 20th anniversary. And it was big for everybody. Like, I remember I seen posts, like, talking about Hannah Montana. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I haven't heard that show in a while. I mean, yeah, it was on Disney Plus. But, when Phineas and Ferb had their movie come back. And that was so cool to see. Like, when they announced a Gumball movie, I was like, man, I am so excited for this Gumball movie. But Warner Brothers never made that happen. But we did get a couple new seasons in the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball, which isn't the same. But, I mean, you're getting regular show The Lost Tapes coming up. I mean, we have Duck Dynasty, the revival now. I mean, there are so many different revivals of shows. I mean, you got Toy Story 5 coming out. Pixar's doing every single sequel under the sun right now. And DreamWorks is doing Shrek 5. I mean, there's so much nostalgia going on right now, and that is so good. But at the time, remember during the nostalgia trips, when you were watching that TV, when you were reading your Bible, reading the beginner's Bible, or whatever that nostalgia trip was, remember that God was faithful to you during that. And remember those memories because God made those for you. He made those memories for you to enjoy. He made those memories, good or bad. And that's when I look back at that nostalgia train. I go, okay, God, yeah, you were pretty faithful back then. Even if I was watching God Rocks, Gumball, watching my movies in the car, playing with my Beanie Babies on the floor while I'm watching Oklahoma and Texas in the Red River rivalry or whatever. I don't know what your way of it is. But that nostalgia, when I go back and look at it, and at the time I was kind of still struggling in my relationship with Jesus, but he still loved me during those times. He was still faithful to me. He still planted those seeds for me. And I'm so grateful for that to this day. And without not all those nostalgic memories, I probably wouldn't be here talking about the nostalgic memories right now with y'all. So folks, I hope you enjoyed my little spiel of just Gen Z nostalgia. Comment below whatever else Gen Z nostalgia y'all have. Folks, it's been a pleasure to go back on the nostalgia train with y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it today. And as I always say, y'all, remember, don't mess with Texas, y'all. And God bless. Keep Jesus first. From The Day Tripper, one of my favorite PBS Kids shows I watch still to this day, Vaya con Dios, amigos. And, as you always know, YEEHAW! All right, y'all. I'll see y'all around. Have a blessed day.